This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, I've come to the conclusion after this U.S. Open show that there's something that I need to add to my things to do before I die list. And that is I have to try one of Mama Vi's chocolate chip cookies. Because I swear to you, there isn't one show that Chris Vi doesn't make where they talk about her cookies. And it's to the point where I'm like, how good can these cookies be, Mike, if they're brought up every time he makes the show? And it's like,
I was going to say, there's definitely like a plateau for how great a cookie could be.
well,
Right?
I mean,
And I also think that judging a cookie is very subjective. It's like, some people like the cookie soft. Some people like me and my wife argue about this all the time. As a matter of fact, she's downstairs making chocolate chip cookies right now. When she does, she has to do an extra batch well done for me because I don't really like the soft chocolate chip cookie. I like the crunchy chocolate chip cookie. So I hear you. There's a lot of hype around the cookies.
there's a lot of hype around those cookies. And I will have to have you ever asked Bill about those cookies? I mean, it seems to be a huge deal whenever he makes the show. Has Bill ever tried one of those cookies?
I don't know. I've never asked him. It's never come up in conversation.
I gotta grab my phone.
I like the way that Jimmy's thinking here. The Ring and 10, our guy says they got that magic weed in them. I mean,
I'm gonna grab my phone.
Is it possible that there's some kind of underground thing going on here where we're like, oh,
I'm gonna grab my phone. I'm gonna text Bill right now and ask him if you ever tried one of those cookies.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should. He might be traveling right now. As a matter of fact, he was injured last week. The last time I hit him up was Friday. He said he was gonna practice this weekend and see how it went, and I didn't hear back from him. But
is he bowling this week?
So I hit him up on Friday, and I asked him how he was feeling and what it was looking like, and he said he was going to practice this weekend and then make a decision. I didn't hear from him, so I don't know, and I didn't check in with him either.
Actually, let's call him and put him on speaker.
Oh, geez,
Let's do it.
I don't know. Go ahead.
You think he'll pick up?
I don't know.
He might. I'm calling. I don't really call him a lot, so I mean, I text him a lot.
What's up?
Hey, Bill, you're live right now on Sweep the Rack. We have a question to ask you.
I didn't give you permission to call me to be live on the show.
I told him. You better tell him I told him.
Hey, it's a real random question, but we're having a thing about right now about how always on the show they always talk about Chris Vi mom's cookies. And have you tried one? And it is good as the hype they make it on the announcers on the show.
This feels like a setup.
It's
This question.
No, it's really not. It's really not. We just want to know if you've ever tried their cookies, her cookies.
Yeah, I don't like the way you're asking this. I don't like it.
It's a legit question. I would put you on blast if it was.
Wait, hold on. He didn't watch the show today.
No, he didn't watch.
He didn't watch the show today, so he did.
Today.
Yeah, the show today, the U.S. Open show.
I thought you meant your show.
No, the U.S.
Oh no! Of course you didn't watch our show.
No, I've been driving all day.
Oh, you're driving, so you're bowling this week.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, I bowled yesterday, so I felt all right. So.
All right, good to hear. But more importantly about you bowling.
Well, yeah, definitely more importantly.
What about Mama Vi's cookies? Have you tried one?
Yes,
Is
they're
it-
good.
They're good. I mean, is it
but
really great?
I think they're. I mean, I think the scale of cookies is very like the range is very small between bad and really good. Like a bad cookie is still good. So like I don't know, they're good, but I think it's more about the gesture than anything else. The fact that she makes them for everybody.
Is it a specific variety of cookie?
Chocolate chip.
Okay.
It's chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they on the harder side or the softer side?
All right, this is out of control.
Yo,
All right.
listen, son.
Yeah, they're like a crunchier cookie.
Ooh,
Mike.
I like that. I like that.
Actually, it's been a while since I've had them. Actually.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Maybe this week. Listen, son. I have a broken leg. Okay.
Are you getting a lot? You guys are getting a lot of mileage out of this cookie thing, aren't you?
Yeah, we're gonna
No,
get.
I have a broken leg, and we usually do a segment called Lig Report. And I can't bowl lig. I have a broken leg right now, so this is where we're at. I'm sorry.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah. So what's up? What's up with this leg, man? Like what? What are you doing?
I was sledding.
Yeah, I know you were sledding. I'm trying to figure out why you were sledding.
Well, because it was a snow day and the kids wanted to go sledding, and I was just chilling at the bottom of the hill, and I was like, you know what? I'll go up to the top of the hill. I'll go hang with the fam while the kids sled. I'll go hang with Lisa. And then I was walking back down the hill to come back to the car, and I was walking on like a path of packed down snow. And your boy took a spill, and you know me, like I walked around on it.
Wait. You told me you fractured it sledding. Now you're telling me you were walking?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
oh, see, that's even worse.
I know. I understand.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get the whole story. I thought you were sledding and maybe like you caught your leg on something as you were coming down a hill. And here, you're just a big dumb goof who fell and broke your leg. All right.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should have. I made a bad decision. I should have been walking in the deep snow as opposed to the packed down snow. And that was probably my bad choice. But yeah, listen, Bill, I'm not lying to you, bro. I didn't even get into it with you because I know you're dealing with your own issues. But talk to me this week when you're done bowling. I'm in bad shape, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm laid up, and
we're all at the age now where any sneeze or any wrong move is just we're out. Like that's it.
I just said that to Rob before I came on. I said, Rob, I'm too old to make a mistake like that. That's just the way it is. So no doubt. But that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. And I'm glad to hear you're bowling this week. It'll give me something to watch because I'm sitting at home with not much to do. And that's it. I'll be back at him soon enough, though.
You heard it here first, Bill. All right, Bill, we'll let you go. We were having an argument about Mama Vice cookies.
Later.
All right, Bill. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
So it sounds like the cookies live up to the hype. And speaking about hype, let's bring up our guy here, the Mike Flanagan, for a second. Okay. Let's bring him up because there's a lot to talk about this week. Okay. There's a lot to talk about this week. And we'll get to the tournament eventually today. But things happened throughout this week at this U.S. Open, and we're going to get into some of the side stories here. Pat McAfee came to watch the PBA, and Mike Flanagan got mad shouts from Pat McAfee, and I give Mike Flanagan mad respect for the shouts that he got from Pat McAfee. I mean, this is the biggest show in sports. I mean, I guess it's one of the biggest shows in sports, one of the biggest broadcasting names in sports, I would say, Pat McAfee. And he was giving mad props and mad shouts to Mike Flanagan, who, by the way, the whole Bowl TV thing, very good this week. I watched a lot. It was very good. Thank you guys for keeping me occupied and giving me something to watch. But it was awesome that Pat McAfee came out to watch bowling. It was awesome that they got him to do a little clip at the end before he left and talk about what, his impressions of things. It was even better that he went on a show the following day and talked up bowling and talked up pro bowling and, did it in a way where, like they were having some fun with it for sure, but they were also presenting it in a somewhat serious manner.
Flanagan, you're in the chat. Let me ask you, is it true that the winner, or I should say Patrick Dombrowski, is going to be on the McAfee show tomorrow, Monday? Because I heard that somewhere. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I agree. Like, this is the stuff that bowling needs. I mean, I always talk about main media or sports media, like advertisement or marketing. This is something that bowling needs, and any exposure, especially from someone like Pat McAfee on a show of that magnitude, is nothing but going to help the PBA. I mean, obviously, but shouts to Pat McAfee for driving an hour to go to a PBA tournament. I know I believe he's an Indiana guy, and he was, in EJ Tackett's corner. Obviously, there was a lot of promotion for EJ, which is rightfully so. Guys going for 4th player of the year this year. And I would love to see that relationship form. And I really hope the PBA or whoever has that contact with McAfee, Flanagan might be the guy now, has the contact there. Hopefully you guys can keep in contact with him and let him keep updating on stuff that's going on throughout the year and not be kind of like a one and done, because the PBA needs Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee doesn't need the PBA. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it'd be great. It would be great if in some way, a relationship could be developed there, right? Where there's some, I'm obviously it's not going to be super regular, but even some once in a while coverage of the PBA through his outlet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't, obviously we don't expect him to cover every tournament every week, but a major or just checking in, hey, how's things doing, whatever, having an EJ on, having whatever on, right, would be awesome on his show. But yeah, shouts to, I guess McAfee saw that the Flanagan said in the chat, Pat lives 5 minutes from the center and saw the trucks outside, which is pretty cool that he was even interested. And I don't know how that started. Was that us? Was that the PBA? And I saw AJ and I saw everyone tweeting and trying to get him interested. I'm not sure how that started, but big shouts to whoever even came up with that, or if even McAfee said something originally on Twitter. I don't know how it started, but it says Pat covered this because it was in his hometown. Maybe you just need to have every tour stop in his hometown. Maybe Woodland Bowl needs to be the center of the PBA at this point. But yeah, pros were shouting him out. I believe that was the first communication. Awesome. That was a great thing for the PBA, and anybody who says otherwise, then I feel bad, because like you said, he's one of the biggest sports personalities right now. The guy's in WWE, the guy's in college football, the guy has his own sports talk show. It's just crazy.
See, now I like this comment by Jim Grish in the chat. Jim, welcome. I don't see that name often. He said, need to get him a signed bowling pin to sit on his desk during his show. I'm going to follow up on that. Let's go heavy. Where are the heavy hitters in the bowling industry? Let's get him some bowling balls for his whole crew. Let's get them some bowling shoes, some bags, some shirts with his Pat McAfee logo on it. Right? Let's treat somebody like this well. Let's try and get them in the bowling alley bowling. Let's introduce them to the sport in that way. And who knows where it goes from there. But yeah, listen, that was super cool to see, and sort of like bowling was having a little bit of a moment there this week, so it was good.
So I'm going to transition, because I would put this as a really couple of things going on for the PBA, big things coming the HBO documentary Born to Bowl is premiering next Sunday. And that is also a really big deal. That is a major TV platform. That is pretty much what I've been asking for years, right? For them to follow for a camera crew to follow around pros and build that player fan relationship by doing things outside the lanes. This is exactly what the PBA needs to grow bowling. Now, it's not going to be, it's going to be slow and steady, but there'll be a lot of new eyes watching this documentary and a lot of new faces and new people maybe going to check out the PBA and the show next week. Hopefully, when this premieres, hopefully a couple of guys who are filmed in the documentary, guys like Kyle Troop and I believe Simonson was one of them, can make a show too. Would be awesome this coming week, right, at the Groupon Illinois Classic. Just so people could see the guys they saw in the season premiere and now they're on Bowling on TV, I think would be really cool. But those were two really major positive things that happened or is happening in the bowling world right now. Born to Bowl is on Mondays for 5 straight weeks, HBO. So it's Monday, sorry, which is awesome. And I can't wait to watch the first episode. It'll be definitely exciting, and I can't wait, really. I'm excited about it.
There's another great comment from Dakota Blitch. Pat McAfee could be the face of the next iteration of the CP3 celebrity event. Love it. Love that idea.
Have him bring Aaron Rodgers on too.
Love that idea. Love that idea. Are we listening? Are people listening? Love that idea. I feel like, they get enough ideas from us. Listen to this one. But no, listen, great ideas from the chat, honestly. And, again, shout to Flanagan and Jimmy and all the people involved with Bowl TV. Randy was in the booth back.
Randy was in the booth.
That.
I would love to hear how that came about.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a great week. Rob believes that this is the best week in bowling. I hear you. That there's a strong argument for that. I tend to feel like it's the week where the World Series wraps up and you have all those shows in a row. But nonetheless, it was a great week. It was, and this was part of it, right? The show was really good today. The competition was good, and the competition was good all week. The lane patterns were hard. There's, bowl and ball choice was wild. People throwing plastic and less reactive resin. I mean, there's so much to talk about here.
Yeah.
What direction do you want to go in now, Rob?
Well, I just want to also, before we wrap up this kind of conversation, last night watching Bowl TV was awesome. They did an amazing job. There was so much. They did emotionally very, very well. I mean by that is there was a lot of drama, but they did a really good job, getting hype when needed and keeping the audience interested. I think Saturday night or Saturday evening having the match play on or the last 8 games is like a perfect time slot for a major because a lot of people are watching Saturday. They maybe want to stay home, get some takeout and hanging out with their family. And let's put on the last 8 games of match play for the US Open. I think is a pretty good time slot, honestly. And they did a really good job on that end. But yeah, let's talk about the bowling. Let's talk about the bowling because this was the first tournament that there was a essential urethane ban, right? And we saw a lot of weird stuff going on because of the urethane ban. And I think we need to talk about it, especially on there's 2 topic of conversations with the urethane ban. The first is how the pros handled the short pattern on day 3. And the second topic is how the lefties did. Okay, because I kind of felt like the urethane ban was going to affect the lefties the most. And I kind of feel like we saw that to a certain degree, but I believe 3 lefties made the top 24. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And that's usually on par with the 1 of 8. You see 1 out of every 8 righties. That's usually the ratio. or what you see when both sides are fair. So to say that it really hurt all lefties would be something probably you shouldn't say, because there were still lefties that made match play. You saw it come into effect, though, I think in the match play when all of the lefties kind of dropped to the bottom of the top 24. So I don't know where you want to take that, Mike, because I kind of dropped a lot on you, but that's kind of the topics I kind of like to talk about the urethane ban.
I think what you saw this week is that the quality of bowlers at this level is such that it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make it makes a difference, but it doesn't make a huge difference. These guys are still going to find a way to hit the pocket. These guys are still going to find a way to strike. These guys are still going to find a way to execute and score. And, while, okay, it may slow the scoring pace down a little bit, and it may give an advantage or a disadvantage to some players, right, who either struggle or succeed with that particular piece of equipment choice. I truly believe, watching this week, and I watched a lot this week, that these guys are that good that almost regardless of what you limit them to, they're going to find a way to make it work.
I really think that it did show that the lefties are really reliant on urethane. I really do believe it showed that to a certain extent. I mean, if you look even after the first day of qualifying, the bottom of the list, I think there were 3 to 4 lefties in the bottom 6 that were just usually lefties that really do well.
But is that surprising?
No,
it's not surprising at all.
No, I wasn't surprised. I was curious because I remember when we talked about the U.S. Open, we talked about our preview last week, what we were looking for, and I was looking for certain lefties to kind of prove me wrong in a way, right? Hey, I could do this without urethane. And
a lot of other players did that.
A lot of other players did.
A lot of other players said, "Oh yeah, no urethane, no problem."
Correct.
So, and there's a comment from Kevin Weeks in the chat here that says, "Hate to be that guy, but a lot of lefties are one-trick ponies, urethane or die." I mean,
I think
show me something that says he's wrong. Show me evidence that says he's wrong. There's a few pieces of evidence, but show me a large block of evidence that says that he's wrong. Right now, you're always going to have this issue right now because the PBA is still allowing it, the USBC is not, right? So for the Masters and the U.S. Open, you're going to have this issue, right? The rest of the time, it's pretty much open season. I guess there's some balance there. But yeah, I guess that wasn't my take because it wasn't really something that I wasn't that surprised by.
Yeah, my other thing here with the urethane and the pros throwing plastic, there's a little bit of a kind of thing inside of me that doesn't mind them using plastic, because if anybody's ever tried to throw plastic on a sport shot in general or a short pattern, that is very, very hard to do. And it is very hard because you have to be very speed sensitive. You have to be the minute you get quick or your speed gets fast with the plastic ball,
or you don't get it enough.
You don't get it at the bottom. You end up missing the head pin. You 2-8-10. And then on top of that, carry is horrendous with the plastic. I mean, you saw Tim Foy today on the show, right? You have to still manage to knock 10 pins down if you do hit the pocket. I think that's what the difference between plastic and the new urethane is the new urethane is a lot easier carry wise and carry percentage. The new urethane gives you control of the pocket and it also increases your carry percentage. Plastic, you might have that same percentage of hitting the pocket, but carrying that 10 out or that 7 out is really the hard part of using plastic. And I think to watch some of the pros have success with the plastic to a certain extent, it does reiterate what you said, show how good these guys are, right?
Yeah, well, I think the two things I'm going to say here. One is that also the misses with plastic are amplified, right? So
100%.
yeah, so like when you talk about how good these guys are, the fact that they can produce those scores with plastic just shows you what the repetition is like. And then the second thing I'm going to say is this: you know, I think we all have experiences as competitive bowlers. You know, you bowl enough events, you go to enough things, and like you see things happen where you're like, wow, that person just did something that's just other level. Like can't even wrap my head around that, right? And there's two instances that I had in my bowling experiences that fit into that category that involved plastic. One was at the Laurel Lanes college tournaments run by Buddy Tierno. And in those tournaments, there used to be a side event where if you were, I forget how many it was, but if you made the top X, you then bowled a guys and girls doubles tournament that night after qualifying. And I made it. I think it was my freshman year. And Kelly Kulik happened to be a senior at Moorhead State that year, I think. And we bowled at Laurel Lanes after qualifying. They were roasted. No real oil. We went right into what we were doing with the doubles tournament. She used plastic to shoot like, I don't know, 800 something. Like it was crazy. One of the most amazing things I ever seen in bowling, right? So that comes to mind. And then the second one, you might remember this one, Rob. It was at the High Roller probably in 2003, I want to say. And they were, everything was short patterns were like the thing back then because everybody's adjustment on short patterns back then was move left. And that was the wrong move. The move was actually move right. So if you had that little piece of knowledge, hey, I can move right or move left for a lefty, you would find it. And I watched a sweeper where Andrew Kane drilled a plastic ball and shot like 560 or something. That's some crazy number for 2 games and won a sweeper and won like $10,000 with a plastic ball.
Yeah.
Like Jesus. And this week reminded me of those instances. Like, but you have 20 guys out there that are that good, right? And even better to another level, right? So that was really interesting to see this week. But yeah, I think my observations are generally the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I that year I won a high roller match throwing my target zone up the 1-2 board.
Okay. That year I lost my first high. It was the only high roller I bowled. I had a sponsor that year. I bowled a lot of action back in Jersey, and there was a guy who, was backing me for a while. We were making some money, and he wanted me to go to the high roller. I told him, this is a big risk on your part, but he didn't care. And, he sponsored me in it. And I lost my first match on a crossover. The guy got up in the 10th and needed a double, and he crossed on at least one of them. And I remember you were watching my match, and Deandra at the time, Hyman came up, and she was like, "Oh, who you watching?" And you were like, "Oh, I'm watching Big Mike." And she was like, "Who's that?" And you were like, "Mike Weiner." You don't know Mike Weiner? You don't know who Mike Weiner is? Mike? And you call me back. You're like, "Mike Weiner, come back here." And you introduced me. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then I went and like started practice for a match. I was using a negative drilled too hot, storm too hot.
The green one?
Ball for me at that time. It just held off. And I really had a good look. I thought I bowled a good game that game, but it was unfortunate. So, but you understand what I'm saying. You have these experiences where these things happen. And this week reminded me of that. I'm also going to say this last thing before we move on here. Oh my God, how is it? Nick Hoagland. Okay. If you haven't gone and watched the video that they put up on YouTube, go watch it. It's very interesting. Okay. Very, very informative. But Nick Hoagland is Greg Tack level diabolical, crazy with the lane patterns, like, to a degree that most of us don't even think about. Okay. So that's going to factor in too, right? Because when you have the US Open used to just be put out 40 feet flat and let's see what happens. Okay. And there were years at Carolier where, in the end games of match play, guys would be lofting sixth arrow, playing backup. And I mean, just craziness. Now, I think it's more about creating an environment that demands certain patterns of execution, right? After watching the YouTube video, that's kind of what I took away from it. And I think that makes it a lot more challenging because Hoagland is literally developing these lane patterns to make them try and play different parts of the lane with different types of equipment. And that is going to highlight versatility, right? And I don't have a problem with that, and I kind of think that's what you saw somewhat this week. So yeah, I thought it was a great week.
Mike, I want to pull up some comments because our chat room, the chat is just bumping right now. Let's pull up Kevin. What's up, man? Here's the question: was the tournament any less exciting because of no urethane? I think that's a pretty easy answer. Good riddance, urethane. Ooh. What's up, Kevin? Hate to be that guy, but a lot of the lefties are one-trick ponies, urethane or die. Jimmy says no lefty on the show. Jack Wilton, what's up, Jack? Graham Fott wasn't even in the top 60 after day one, then made the first cut. What had a bigger impact? No urethane or a 10-ball limit? That's a good question. I think the urethane had a lot of more impact, in my opinion. Ken Schneider, all caps, he's yelling at us, Mike. Going to see the same type of patterns in the Masters and Nationals. That's how I read when someone doesn't hit when has caps lock.
Not that hard.
New female interviewer that worked in Philly. I know I saw her.
Yeah, that was an unexpected change, and I'm okay with the Philadelphia connection.
Hey, she was cool. I liked her. So Mike, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do? All right, Mike.
Listen, shoot or shoot, bro. Go ahead. You single guy, shoot or shoot. Little young for you though, I think.
Hey, when you're as good looking as me, the 25 is in play.
Question for us: do we want to see urethane gone in other tournaments?
Ooh, could I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. That is 100% yes. I would love to see urethane gone. And I would love for them to put out. So this pattern they used, I feel like I'd be curious to ask Nick Hoagland.
Live.
What? Did you yell at me?
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were yelling at me.
I thought I was muted.
Oh, I would love to see Nick put out a pattern. I'd be curious to ask him if he thought that pros were going to be throwing plastic on that pattern, if that even ever came in his mind, like if that was something that he thought was even a possibility. And I really believe if he thought that was a possibility or he planned that, then he might have thrown out some extra volume so that people wouldn't be able to throw plastic on their first shot. So I'd be curious in that end, but I'd be also curious to see what people would have done on like a 37 foot. Because I'm pretty sure that pattern they bowled was a 35. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. I would love to see them put a 37 out with a little bit more volume to get the plastic out of play and then seeing what would have happened. Mike says, Flanagan says he thought so on the short for sure. So then he was probably okay with the plastic. Me personally, I love having that. I love taking that essential handcuff or crutch out of play. Plastic I'm fine with because plastic will only work for a certain amount of time, even though some of the pros were throwing it like 5 or 6, 7, even 8 qualifying games. But I would love to see that so that get the crutch out and let these guys learn how to be versatile if they're not versatile. That's just my opinion. And I know a lot of people have different opinions.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to ban urethane everywhere. I understand. I get what you're saying, Rob. I appreciate the perspective of people that might feel differently for sure. I just don't feel the need to ban it. I really don't think it's that factor that we have to go that far. Most tournaments have, as we've discussed in the past, there are some exceptions to this, but most tournaments in the past they're not one with urethane. The urethane is a tool that's used, but they're not one. And there's some exceptions to that, and usually they're on the left side. And I think that.
But they're used to get there. All you think about is the show in that perspective.
I know it, but they're not. I would even argue that in a lot of instances, they're not used for large blocks of games. To me, it's more a tool that they use to start out and manipulate the pattern in the way that they want. But nonetheless, right? I still feel like you don't have to go as far as to ban it all the way. And I'd also say that urethane going down the lane creates its own puzzles too, right? Like any type of ball going down the lane creates a unique puzzle, right? And while the puzzle might be different when there's a lot of urethane going down the lane, it's still a puzzle, and it still has to be figured out. And there's going to be players that figure it out, and there's going to be players that don't. And that's sort of part of bowling. It's almost to me like, the game is figure out what you need to do to strike in the environment that's created by the transition of the playing surface. But
see, I look at it differently. You talk about a puzzle, like I think more on the left side or the two-handed perspective. Like you have a puzzle, which is a lane condition. It is your job as a bowler to figure out how to strike on certain different lane conditions. And I feel like the urethane and certain measures are the key, are the piece to every puzzle. They're used on 33 foot, they're used on 45 foot, they're used on 40 feet, they're used on 38 foot. I mean, it's just one key that unlocks variety of different locks. And I feel like you talk about puzzles. Yes, urethane does create challenges and puzzles as transition for sure. I just think that the reason why I don't like it is because you have one tool that is used for just almost every lane condition if you're certain players and two-handers, lefties to a certain point. So
fair enough. Fair point.
Anyway, all right, Mike.
So it wasn't all great news coming out of the U.S. Open this week. Okay. There was some drama. There was some drama, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into it a little bit. So as all of you have heard by now, okay, PBA player Cam Crow was supposedly, allegedly, the reports are out there as you've all seen, I'm sure, was arrested for various charges. Okay. We report this as something that is newsworthy inside this tournament, right? That occurred inside this tournament. The PBA suspended him indefinitely, which I'll say, Rob, I think they almost have to do. Right. I wasn't really surprised by that. I think any professional organization is probably going to make that same move, take that same step. Right.
My question to you is, like, wouldn't they want to wait and see how it plays out before they make any decision on this kid's career?
Yes, but I don't think that they're doing anything finalized. I think it's just, letting the process take its course. Right. I don't think it would be any different from a player in any other professional organization. If the same thing happened to an NFL player, it's very likely that it would be the same, that it would be dealt with in the same way.
Okay, because I was just asking. Like, usually sometimes.
Yeah. No, and listen, we're not experts on this, right? Neither of us are. We're just giving our take based off of how we see the situation. First, I want to say that I've met Cam and personally, and I was really impressed by the young man that he was. I wish him the best. I look at this more as a personal thing. There's also the issue of allegedly and innocent until proven guilty, right? Just a reminder that that's the way things work. So I wish him the best personally. in terms of where he's at and dealing with this and rectifying this.
100%.
I'm also going to say that I want to remind everybody for a second, because I've talked about it on the show before and I've tweeted it out. And I just want to throw this out there, and I'm not trying to be a hater, and I'm not trying to bring people into this situation who aren't involved in it, right? But I was a little surprised by, I would say, the overreaction to this, okay, within the bowling community. I was surprised by the overreaction. Like, need I remind people that there is a Sports Illustrated article out there that I have referenced on this show previously, that I have tweeted out previously? Okay, Jimmy, you're stealing my thunder here, bro. But there is a Sports Illustrated article out there where Pete Weber goes into great detail about his drug use and alcohol use and misbehavior, I will say, on the PBA tour, to the point where they suspended him. They suspended him. I mean, there's a part of that article where he says that he basically was in a blackout state and used cocaine and whiskey to function. And now, just last week, we had a tournament named after the guy. So I don't know, bowling community. This is a little overreaction to me, And the last thing that I guess I'll say is that, if you think that there aren't plenty of individuals living that lifestyle out on not even in the bowling world, period, let alone the PBA tour, I think you're somewhat naive. I think you're somewhat naive. I do. Some might say that to a degree it comes with the lifestyle. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying that some might say that. And again, I look at this as a young guy who, now has this personal issue to deal with. He needs to take care of that. Maybe it's best that he steps away for a minute. Bad timing. I feel bad for him on the timing of this, because, he must have been on top of the world. Like, you're starting your professional career. You have an HBO documentary coming out that's featuring you, et cetera. And now, this happens. It's unfortunate. And, we don't do political here, Rob. We don't do that. So I'm not trying to take it down that road, but I'll leave it at that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So, like, on today's day in social media, the whole innocent until proven guilty is completely out the window on social media, unfortunately. If you're accused of something, even in this day and age in social media, people are already jumping and piling on you. And we don't know exactly what happened. We heard that the charges might have been dropped. I don't think that's been verified from what I hear or read. I just know that we saw an arrest report, or we saw what looked like an official arrest report of that he got arrested for various charges. And then I find it weird that the charges would get dropped so quickly, or even the next day when I heard that. So I was a little bit skeptical of that. Either way, Cam, I was sad. I felt bad for him. I mean, yes, if those charges are true, then yeah, he made some bad decisions without a doubt. And I think maybe getting arrested and getting suspended might be hopefully a wake-up call in a sense, right? And that, maybe he realizes that he made a bad decision and he gets things cleaned up, which I do hope happens. So yeah, on that end, it's just
if there's an issue there.
If there's an
issue there. Who even knows what the problem? Somebody mentioned in the chat, oh yeah, the first 20 billboards in Michigan are where to buy weed. Like,
yeah,
let's not even get into that.
No,
right? Let's not even get into that. I don't think either one of us is referring to that, right? But if there's a problem there, yeah, I hope he is able to rebound from that. I want to go to this comment. PD and NJ. He says he ain't Pete, MF, and Weber though. Okay, you're right. You're right. But can I make a point? Like, does it matter? Does it matter? That strikes me as sort of a lame take, PD. I'll be honest, because it's almost like you're saying, "Oh, if you win, if you win at the highest levels, then it's okay to be coked up and drunk and act like a moron." I don't know about that. I don't agree with that. I don't. I don't. To me, doesn't. I don't vibe with that take.
So here's the thing: is though, this is kind of a weird take, but I saw TMZ on their official Twitter account tweeted this story about Cam getting arrested, and then specifically brought in Ben Stiller. Right now, Mike, a week before this documentary is gonna get debuted, is bad publicity good publicity for a documentary on HBO when you have TMZ tweeting out that Ben Stiller did a bowling production for the show? And now I hate to say it, but if Cam didn't get arrested, would that have been promoted by a media that's a mainstream like TMZ?
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
So that's just a thought too. And I heard there was some even comments that I saw on our Facebook page about this being like a made up story or like a publicity stunt or something. And I'm just like, at this day and age, I don't even know what's real and what's not with all the fake things that you read on social media and all the AI and all that stuff. But anyway, we don't know enough about it. We could give our perspective, but I think people just don't know what really happened, what the true story is to a certain extent. And we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out.
I'm sorry. PD and NJ said it was a joke about Pete Weber. I took it too seriously. I'm up here ranting at a guy who regularly comes and joins in our podcast. I'm sorry, bro. My bad. I apologize.
Getting Michael riled up.
Yeah, sometimes I don't get the tone through the chat. I'm sorry. I can't. It's hard to tell if you're joking or if you're serious, but I don't. I don't know. So. Anyway,
all right, Mike, you want to get into the tournament? You want to run the ladder? Is there any other storyline?
Let's do, right? I think we've spent enough time talking about the all the ancillary stuff surrounding the US Open this week. So let's get into it.
Yo, I saw Tim in the chat. Yo, Tim, you'll get it, bro. Just keep grinding. Keep grinding, man. Dude, I feel like when it's meant to be, it's gonna be your day. And unfortunately, in this match, Mike, it wasn't Tim's day. I did think after Andrew left that big washout that I thought that Tim was gonna win. I did. I really believe that. Shouts to Andrew though for getting his act together after that washout and then putting together 8 in a row. And then Tim having a hard time carrying, which seemed to be the storyline of the show, Mike. But
no, the theme of the show was the 7-10.
And how funny was those guys?
Kyle Sherman stole all my thunder at the end of the show because I watched the whole show and I had my takes ready, and I'm like, all right, the big idea here is the 7-10, and right before the show goes off, or right as that match is ending, he's like, "Oh, well, the theme of the day is the 7-10," and I'm like, you just stole my take, bro.
And what was the odds that there were 2 guys in the crowd wearing a 7-10 pin hat?
Right,
just randomly, right? Because I don't think I would love to know this, and I would really bet, Mike. I would bet a lot of money if this was the show that had the most 7-10s ever left on a 4-game stepladder final. You have to believe that, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw that many 7-10s in one show. And
no, I don't remember that ever.
No, me either. But so here's the thing about that match too is I'd be curious, Tim's in the chat, if he was inclined to switch out of that axe in the middle of that Andrew string, because I think Kyle made a really good point after Andrew doubled, and he said that if Andrew didn't double, then Tim could have stayed in that axe and probably, you know, could have grinded out that match. But when Andrew started keep stringing and stringing, I think Tim also started stringing them right a little bit, like, and I think that's what kept him in that axe. But ultimately, it was doomed with that at the end when he left that 10 pin.
Right.
So it just sucks because we're big Tim fans, right? He's a friend of the show, right? He'll come on again for sure. He's got that dog in him, man, and we're always rooting for him, but he'll get there. It's just it wasn't his time today.
Yeah, no, it's a great step for him to make the U.S. Open show. You know, I mean, especially in these demanding conditions, like you got to feel good about the way you're throwing it if you bowled good this week.
Yeah, no joke. This is the toughest, my opinion, the toughest tournament of the year.
No question. All right, so that brings us to the second match.
Correct.
It was
Andrew Anderson, Chris Vai's Mama's Cookies.
Right, against Chris Vai. And
no, it's Chris Vai's Mama's Cookies. That's his name.
It was, and really it was the start of the 7-10s.
Andrew.
This was you know, this was the first of 3 matches in a row that were heavily impacted by the 7-10 split. Right. And Anderson goes up, and I think I might be wrong on this, but I think he left the only 7-10 that there were. Oh, no, I'm wrong, because Simonson's 7-10 on the fill was on the right lane too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but up to that point, Anderson had left the only 7-10 on the right-hand lane. All the other ones were on the left-hand lane. But he goes up and leaves back-to-back 7-10s while Vi has a string going, and that was it. The match was over. So,
good night. I started doing my laundry and like, as soon as Andrew went up after the 7-10s and left the 4-pin, I believe, I was just like, oh, this match is out. Went to go do laundry, clean a little bit, whatever. So next match, Vi bowled Dombrowski. And yeah, I'm just trying to think like the storyline on that match, because I know, didn't Vi leave a 7-10 in that match too?
Dombrowski's look early was very shaky.
Tight down the lane, and then he switched balls.
It was very shaky, and he had a lot of adjustments to make during that game to be able to pull it out. But what really was the difference maker in the match was the 7-10 that Vi left.
Yep. And
that was it. That was the difference maker. If Vi doesn't leave that 7-10, he very likely wins that match.
What did Dombrowski start with? Because I know he switched to a bionic. Was he using a bionic to start, and just was it a different one?
I want to say he was using one to start and switched to a different one.
A different drilled bionic, right? Which is Storm's new symmetrical ball, which I hear is actually pretty good. So I think he went to something that wasn't going down the lane, because the ball he switched to seemed like it was kind of reading early. And I would imagine that was a ball that was probably some kind of more surface or a pin down version of it. But what amazing switch. I mean, he really made some really good shots too. And yeah, I still was hesitant of Dombrowski's look, even going into the final match. I wasn't betting today, Mike. I'm taking some time off. I can't win a thing right now. I'm like, you know what? But to be honest with you, I'm glad I wasn't, because I probably would have bet on. I would have bet Simo in that final match, because I just didn't look. I felt like Dombrowski's look wasn't the greatest, but I was wrong, because Simo's look was just as bad on the carry way, right? I thought it was a very interesting match with Simo, because Simo during that match mic'd up talking to the ball reps, which is great content, by the way, especially when you're really listening to what he's saying. He said that he made a quote or something that he wasn't going to be, he didn't think he was going to win using that ball. And he was right. But I think Dombrowski's struggling also to carry and whatnot. And like, I felt like Simo, it would have been a tough switch for him in that game.
Yeah, but all right, a couple things here. Number one, the final match against Simo may not have been as close as it was had Dombrowski not given Simo back the open at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the church.
That was a huge mistake by Dombrowski.
Huge.
Right? Like, after he did that, I thought, no way is this guy winning this game. No, like, you know, this is the PBA, baby. This is the highest level. So, like, when your opponent steps up and leaves a 7-10 early in the game of the final of the U.S. Open, you damn well better get up and throw 2 strikes in a row. Okay. And when he got up and left that Greek church, I just thought, oh no, there's no way he's recovering from that. But he got a great break later on where he crossed over, you know, and he struck and it kept the string going. And I thought to myself, man, how are you feeling if you're Simo? How are you feeling if you're Simo? You bowl Gary Haynes in the final of the Masters. We all saw what happened there. Okay. Not taking anything away from anybody, but there was some, you know, it was the breaks were one-sided. Okay. You go to this match today, you know, the breaks again are very one-sided. You know, so
here's the question though. Is there a reason why that's happening to him? Is he just not using the ball he needs to use? Is the adjustments not like what he like should be adjusting? And I'm playing like chair quarterback here, right? I'm playing literally couch fan critique here. But it feels like when he's been on TV, his ball isn't knocking all 10 pins down. And is there a reason?
I mean, I'm sure there is. Chris Barnes says there's always a reason you don't strike. But to me, I'm a more simplified bowler. I just like to blame it on bad luck and complain. But that's probably why I ended up where I ended up in the bowling world. But
yeah, Simo wouldn't say that though. If you ask Simo, he knew in that middle of that game that he was in the wrong ball. He did. The guy he's one of the best bowlers in the world. Of course, he knew he was in the wrong ball.
Yeah, and still, what does it come down to? You know, what does it
frame.
come down to? It comes down to the 10th frame, and you know he still gets to the point where he's throwing the shot to tie the game, and it takes a bad break, 7-10, to stop him. I also want to comment for a second on Dombrowski's 10th frame. Okay.
The 2-8 specifically?
The 3-8. The 3-8. No, sorry.
The 2-8.
The 3-10. The 3-10.
Baby split.
The baby split.
What an amazing cover
here. Okay. Listen. Terrible shot.
Terrible
shot, right? We all been there, right? We all been there. But that was rough. I can't remember a better spare to lock up a title, let alone a major, since Norm Duke, I believe, won the U.S. Open, making the bucket in the 10th.
What about Belmo's 3-6-9-10?
Oh, you're right. That is another good one.
I forgot what major that was.
That is another good one.
I haven't put the 3-6-9-10. That's a lot harder of a spare than a bucket.
Yeah.
But the baby split. Here's the thing about the baby split is that you have to be pretty much perfect to make that spare, unless you miss it so bad that you hit the 3-pin on the left side and then you do one of these like
lucky
3 into the 10 type.
Slam it off the wall, right?
Yeah, but if that's me, I'm making that 1 out of 10. I think in that spot, like I have a 10% chance. I mean, the nerves and what you need, like, and he just got up. He didn't look nervous at all. He didn't, and you know he was, and he looked there, and he made an amazing shot. So I thought after he made that spare, that there is no way he's throwing less than 9 here, Mike. There is no way he's throwing less than 9. And he got up, and he thought he threw it good. It looked good, and he just maybe got a little bit too fast. I don't really know. Maybe he said he made an adjustment. And he left a 2-8, and then it gave Simo the opening, right? So Simo gets up, and you're like, he's on the right lane. And you're like, man, like, he gets up, and Simo throws 2 great shots. And then the fill ball I disagree with you because Simo did. You listened to him halfway down the lane. He said something like, "Oh crap." So
yeah, but he got one a little bit right on that lane earlier, and it looked great.
I know, but you know as well as I do, even the shots that are online, if your release isn't good at the bottom of the swing, you're the only one who knows when you bowl if a shot is really bad or really good. And sometimes you throw a really bad shot, but the shot is in line. I have a feeling that there's something on the bottom of the swing that he didn't come out of it the right way, which caused the ball to go maybe a little bit too far down the lane and then cause the 7-10. Because I feel like that's all it took on this pattern and this TV pair is to just have the ball go a little bit long down the lane or past your break point to leave a 7-10. And I think that's what happened. I don't think he liked it off his hand. And I think he'd be the first to say it, but he kept it in line and he did hit the pocket. So to us viewers, oh, it looked good, like a good shot. But just by him making that comment halfway down the lane, it's shown that he wasn't really happy with it.
True.
Yeah, Kevin Weeks, I agree. It probably didn't come off. It probably came off his hand bad. He probably airmailed it a little bit, but he was able to get the ball hit the pocket. And yeah, he could have got a good break. He could have struck there. But the way the penalty and those 7-10s were today was brutal. I mean, you were paying the ultimate price for it not coming off your hands. You know. So anyway, Mike. All right. So yeah, Dombrowski. I do have to say real quick while we wrap this up is I love seeing a bowler like Dombrowski who's been doing it for a really long time, who's older than me, right? Have his first title, his first major, and paying off, right? The hard work, the time away from your family, the travel, the expenses, making shows and not winning, and just grinding out there. One-handed bowler, doesn't have the highest rev rate, doesn't have the biggest power game. He's a shot maker. He's from the school of like a Bill O'Neill and just he's a Sean Ray, like just that type of bowler. And it's really great to see someone in an age of young two-handed dominance in a sense, except for EJ, win, right? So good for him. Doesn't have to. In his interview, he even said, "Well, what are you getting at? Well, I don't have to bowl the PTQ anymore." For what do you say, for tournament champions or something. I was just laughing. I was like, "Man, this guy's still bowling PTQs." But anyway, great for Dombrowski. Happy for him. Great to see it. And yeah, just kind of got to give him his kudos there.
Okay. All right, let's hand out some awards for the week, Rob.
Ooh, I got some good ones this week. This one's a good one. Okay.
Oh man.
I'm gonna go down. We're gonna start from the top of my list. Okay, that's how we're gonna run this. All right. Because to me, dumpster diving always has to be the last. Because that's to me my favorite.
Okay.
I see you, Haas.
Too. I mean, dumpster diving, do it last.
Yeah, of course. So I see you, Haas. I'm gonna go and give I see you, Haas to Terrence Rock. Okay, Terrence Rock. I see you, Haas, having a really great week. What did he finish, Mike? He finished, had it up, but he was definitely in the match play, the top 24. He finished 9th, Mike, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but no, he didn't. Fuck. Anyway, he was in the match play, Mike. I watched him bowl some matches. He was up there. He was grinding. He was winning matches. Yo, big shouts to Terrence Rock. Young kid, college, just recently out of college, bowl for Wichita, bowl with Ryan Barnes. What a great Wichita team that was, and Spencer Robarge. So yeah, so that's my I see you, Haas.
Okay,
TJ.
my I see you, Haas is pretty easy. It's Toon Hakim.
Yo, Haku.
It's Toon Hakim. Never heard of him before. Bro
Malaysia.
comes out, whacks him at the U.S. Open. Makes match play, gets within a shot of the show. Tough to watch last night for him. It was a tough finish for him last night.
Oh, he won another award for me. You could probably guess what award he won for me.
not handling the heat.
Hey, I mean, you know it better than I.
Okay, well, all right. I hear you. Now you That's actually an astute observation. That's a good one. That's a good
He
one.
did strike out to make match play though.
Yeah, I think we have to give a shout to Dylan Jablonski as well. Is Toon Hakim the guy who won the title at the World Series last year?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. People are saying that he is.
I don't think so. I could look that up real quick.
Really?
No, I don't think
if
so.
it is, that name did not strike me at all. Okay.
Give me a sec here. I'm looking right now. World Series 2024. 2025 World Series. Where's my? Oh my goodness. No, I don't have my 2025. So wait, I do. Whatever. Somebody probably says in the chat. I don't know where.
Okay.
My numbers are here.
All right. Well, then I'd still give it to him, but I would go Dylan Jablonski. Somebody in the chat said Julian Salinas. I think that's another good pick. So yeah, no doubt.
Okay. All right. Next on the list. I got some really crazy ride whips here. So we're gonna ride with and not ride with.
Okay.
Mike, I'm riding with the new CW lady announcer.
Oh, okay.
To chat it up a little bit, see how she likes being on how her first show was. What is her name? I don't want to call her the new CW lady announcer. But I'm riding with the CW lady announcer. I'll be driving, Mike. Let her sit in the passenger seat. She had a tough, first day. Let her enjoy the ride over to Illinois. We could bullshit a little bit. Could learn about her. She could learn about me. Taryn Hatcher. That's who it is. Thanks, Robert. That's who I'm going to ride with. Good to see some new faces on the show.
Okay. I'm riding with Tommy Jones.
Okay, Tommy, you had a good week.
Because he had a bad start to the week. If you follow the week, he had a bad start. It looked like, wow, Tommy Jones, bottom of the standings. And then it looked like he flipped the switch. It was just like, yeah, I'm gonna make the cut this week. And he had 2 great blocks, and then bowled really good in the advancers round, and he was in match play, and he didn't have a bad finish. And listen, legend of the game, right? Hall of Famer. Never mind taking a ride with somebody like that. You're always going to get some good entertainment, some good stories. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with Tommy Jones this week.
Kevin writes, you should tell her you host the bowling podcast. It's always a slam dunk with the ladies. Kevin, the only problem with it is that the fact that I don't have a 500 rev rate. So,
yeah, you should tell. Yeah, especially tell her it's a non-revenue producing bowling podcast. That's even better. They love that even more.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, like and subscribe. Our
hey, listen, people are calling this girl a Philly girl. I need to validate this before we give her that kind of title, all right? Because if she didn't grow up in the city limits of the city, she ain't getting that title from me. So everybody relax.
Yeah, I'm sure if she is from Philly, I'm sure she'll love me wearing this Mets hat that I'm wearing right now. I'm sure she'll be thrilled to date me.
Oh, right. I even forgot to mention that. My viewing of the U.S. Open was actually delayed by a Mets-Yankees game today.
That was all of ours.
Okay. Mets, was it? It was everyone? Mets-Yankees was on the CW network. And
15 minutes to watch spring training game. Anyway.
So Mark Cantor is asking in the chat, do I not watch the Phillies? She was sideline reporter for a number of years. So, Mark, I would love to watch the Phillies, but MLB Ticket, I think it's called, it stinks. It stinks. MLB Ticket is a terrible product. Now, I know they moved it to ESPN this year, so I'm hoping that it's better. But even though I signed up for it the last couple of years, I was never able to get the Phillies games. I signed up to get the Phillies games, and then you go to watch the game through MLB Ticket through the app, and it tells you that there's a blackout on that game.
Yeah, because you're local probably for a lot of those games.
No, I'm not though. They think I'm local.
Oh, I guess you are.
I'm local, but I'm really not local because it's not. I get the Mets, I get the Yankees, I don't get the Phillies.
See, it's
Right.
great for me because I'm thousands of miles away.
So somebody saying she's from Delran, New Jersey. No, that does not count. That would be a Jersey girl. That would be a Jersey girl. Okay.
Yo.
But, if she if she's got stripes in Philly, I'm okay with that. All right. I feel you on that.
Jersey girl that I got
know
more.
she was involved with Philadelphia sports for a few years. I was aware of that. Yes, Mark. I knew that though, despite not getting
All right,
it.
let's move on. Let's move on from this conversation.
Okay.
Oh God. So, Mike,
Who you not riding with, Rob?
I'm not riding with Cam Crow. I mean, I don't really have to say that.
That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm not going.
I won't. Yeah, I'm not riding with Cam Crow. Sorry. All right,
I'm
Mike.
not riding with Michael Davidson because he was leading. He was crushing them. He was leading, in a great position in a tournament where the pins carry over, etc. Didn't make the match play. It's got to be tough to be leading the U.S. Open after numerous rounds, and you see yourself kind of fall down and dwindle down the standings.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Davidson actually won my next award, the Milk Carton.
Okay.
Because we haven't seen him on a show in a really long time. Feels like a couple years even.
Yeah, I'm not even sure he's been bowling much.
Or
anyway.
Yeah, he's a solid player, and he definitely can play. He can compete. I mean, obviously, you saw what he could do this week at the hardest tournament of the year. If you're leading the U.S. Open for multiple rounds, you're a very, very good bowler, and he deserves to be out there. So it's tough, though, if he's not exempt or whatever, and he's got to go through PTQs. I mean, who wants to put themselves through that nonsense?
Did he make a show? What show did he make last year? Did he make a show last year?
Maybe. I could have been earlier in the year. I think, Matt, he made that show. I believe they were using that new motive ball, that red ball, something I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's right. But it felt like years ago, but it was probably early. Chicago, maybe. But anyway.
My milk carton was easy. I mean, there's only one answer here to me. It was Randy Peterson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was Randy Peterson.
I like that one. Yeah, Randy coming back. He's going to also be. Flanagan said in the chat that he was going to be for that. I believe what other show he was going to show up to do some announcing. There was another major I think he was showing up to. Maybe the TOC. What?
TOC.
Yeah, because I'd imagine Randy goes to the ceremony, whatever, and all that stuff. All right, Mike. We're taking the heat here. So, who took the heat? I got to give this to Simonson. Even though he didn't win, I feel like he did perform under a lot of pressure at that last 10 frame and made two really good shots and one kind of okay shot that was okay enough to probably strike on that right lane. But on that moment, they always highlight Pete Weber's strike to win the U.S. Open. One shot to claim it. One shot to claim it. Well, Simon almost did 3 shots to claim it and put 2 down easy. Looked easy. And then the last shot was just a little bit of a bad break with a little bit of a bad shot.
I got to go with Dombrowski here. And it's a tough pick. It's a tough pick because he, in that last match, I'm not going to say that he really handled the heat the best, but man, to get up with the 310 we talked about already, facing down for your first title, major title, U.S. Open, 100 G's, and you split it like that, Hoss, that's handling the heat. And then you get up on the fill and you're able to pull it together. And yeah, it's just super impressive.
Dude, I missed this. Lucas in the chat says best moment of the week was Simo humping the score monitor.
No, that's in reference to a video that Jimmy, the Ring and 10, sent out for Inside Bowling, where it's the best content of the week, quite honestly. Every week he's been doing like a highlight reel of all the fry outs. And yeah, this week they were good. There were a couple middle fingers being given, and yeah, it was just good. It's and the music that he puts with it, I retweeted it and I said the music on this is just spot on. It's amazing. Great job. But Jimmy, I can't co-sign your content on it because it's snitching. It's too much snitching. You're snitching on everybody. You got to stop the snitching. I can't co-sign this. No snitching, Jimmy. Come on.
Mike can't co-sign. That should be a shirt we make. Mike can't co-sign. All right, who didn't take the heat? So this is kind of a I wish I could give an award for somebody who took the heat and then didn't take the heat. Because my award for that, it goes to Toon Hakeem. Because I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, people watching the stream this week, I believe he actually threw 2 in the 10th of game 24 to make it to the top 24. So for me, like, that is amazing pressure. He took it, he got up. Then he climbed his way to the position round and needed a strike to get on the show. And what did he do? Did he go dead through the face or did he 2-8? I forgot. I know he didn't hit the pocket.
Yeah, I'm not. I know. Well, there were 2 bad shots he made because the first one was late in the game and he split. I think he left the 4, 6, 7 maybe, something like that. And then the last one after he got another crack at it and got another chance at it because of a bad shot on his opponent's part. Yeah, he got up and threw a less of a bad shot, but yeah.
Yeah, so he threw, what is it, the back 6? I guess Alec James, thanks for that in the shot, to make it to match play. But I do feel like there's a lot more pressure of making a show than making the top 24 match play. There's both pressure situations, don't get me wrong. Just one is a lot elevated of a pressure situation. But anyway, I'm not talking down about this. Kid had an amazing week, finishing 6th in the US Open as somebody who we've never heard of is a great performance. So shouts to him and for doing that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I used this person for an earlier award. I got to say it again. I don't think Michael Davison handled the heat. You go into match play in that position, it's got to be better. So
yeah. All right. 3 more awards, and then we're done. We could get to worst of the week.
No, we got to do ideas, positive ideas for bowling.
I got a good one this week.
Positivity around here, please. I got a good one for this week.
Yeah. Okay. The Sweep the Rack Mush Award. I gotta give the award. I gotta give the award to Foy. Dude, I feel like we mush Foy. I feel like we need to pull our support back for our boy Tim Foy so that he could win a title. Because we know he's close and we keep saying he's close. And every time we're rooting for him, we support him, he just gets on the show and it's just like bad break after bad break. And you just like, man, like I feel like such a mush with Foy. So
the next time he's on the show, what you're saying is we should just
root against him.
We should just butt out.
Root for his opponent.
Fair enough. I'm gonna give the Mush Award not only to the Sweep the Rack Mush Award, but to the Pat McAfee / Sweep the Rack / Bowling World Mush Award, and it's to EJ Tackett. Because I think we were all rooting for EJ Tackett in one way or another this week. I think it's kind of become that way, where I want to see him get 4 in a row. I'm used to seeing him dominate. I want to see him dominate. And yeah, it wasn't a very dominant week from him. It was a week below his expectations. So
got it. Okay. The Reverse Mush Award. I'm giving the Reverse Mush Award to Tomas Kaiko. Because Tomas had a good week this week, and we've barely even talked about him literally on any of our preview shows, on our preview for the year. And I feel like he just tends to show up in these big tournaments with these really tough conditions. He's, when shot making is at a premium, I think you tend to see Keiko. When the scores are high and there's a lot of strikes and that there's a lot of like high scores, I think we tend to not see his name sometimes. So reverse mush goes to Keiko for a great tournament. Honestly, he had a really good week.
I think it's got to be Stu Williams because like we're podcast competitors.
What's that competitors? Right?
Well, I mean, we're in the same space,
Same space, but they're pros. People watch them because they're pros. We're not. We're a bunch of hacks. No way.
Well, this is true. But we're in the same space, and they have their thing, we have our thing, and I feel like Stu's like, forget about these guys. I'm gonna make a run in the tournament and go talk about it. So shout to him. He bowled really good.
Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, dumpster diving. You've seen his name has been in the low in the standings for a lot of tournaments this year. I hate to say it because he's a friend of mine, and when I see him, I like talking to him. He's a good person. Buttriff. Buttriff is struggling this year, and yeah, obviously the urethane or the not taking it out of play definitely hurts him in a tournament like this. But he's been struggling this whole year. So I really hope that me giving him dumpster diving, I put the reverse mush next week. I think that maybe he can get it together because from last time I heard, he's not living in Arizona anymore. He's living with his girlfriend in New York, I believe, upstate. And like he was doing really well. He was very prepared this year. I heard a lot of good things in the off season. And he just hasn't really had a good season to start here yet.
I got to go Trevor Roberts.
Okay.
I got to go Trevor Roberts. And want to say, love his game. Big fan of his game. He was really bowling really, really well last year. And, I'm surprised to see his name near the bottom of the standings, especially in a shot makers tournament. He strikes me as a shot maker like that. He's not a big power guy. He's not a big rev rate guy. Kind of surprising to me to see his name in that position. So I'll go Trevor Roberts.
Okay, Trevor Roberts. All right, let's talk worst of the week. Oh no, PBA. How to say PBA? No, how to say
not just the PBA, but bowling.
Bowling. Okay,
ideas that can help bowling.
All right. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Good. You can go first if you want.
Okay, I have an out of the box idea, and I would be interested to hear your thoughts on this. So, watching darts reels, which have been coming into my social media more than often now because I tend to watch them. So the algorithm knows that I like watching these darts reels. I noticed that the darts competitions, a lot of these are overseas, where the crowds are just absolutely insane. The partying is insane. I've never been to a European football match. Never been to like a United or a Manchester United, versus an art. I've never been to that, but the crowds are just crazy insane. I would love to see the PBA go overseas and do like a 3 to 4, 5, or even a World Series for 2 weeks overseas in Europe. And I would love for us to see the PBA and how a show might look if you're in a European country like England, or some of these really hype countries where the crowds they come and they don't mess around, these crowds. I think it would be interesting to see the different vibe and the shows at a PBA tour going to Europe. for a World Series for a few weeks and see what would pan out. I feel like a lot of European international bowlers come overseas to the States every year, and I feel like it'd be cool to see one time to see what would happen to the vibes of the show. Robert Hamilton, it says, isn't that the Lucky Larson tourney? It's not. It wouldn't be the same because one, the Lucky Larson is not even a telecasted show. That's not on a CW. It wasn't on Fox. I'm talking like a World Series where they have 5 shows or 6 shows, whatever it is, and they put it in a different atmosphere with a different crowd.
Fair enough. Okay. Here's my idea to help bowling. All right. What's one of the big things that bowlers are into about bowling? It's the bowling balls.
Oh God.
It's the bowling balls. Okay. Everybody's into the bowling balls. Everybody wants the new fancy ball, the ball that hooks and this and that. And like we've discussed this ad nauseum, right? And how this has affected the game, etc. So I have an idea. That can help bowling. Okay. And we can use people's desire for the bowling ball as a way to grow the game. Okay.
Okay.
What we need to do is we need to make the bowling ball, the various levels of bowling balls, right? We need to make them like belts in karate.
What do you okay? Explain.
Hear me out. When a bowler starts, right? Bowler goes to drill their first ball. Okay. Pro shop operator has to look them up on the USBC website, see their history, right? And you see what level they are. Okay. I don't know how we would do the levels. I don't know if it would be by color, if it would be by number. You're level 1, you're level 2, your level number's probably easiest, right? You have 5 or 6 levels, right? So level 1, if they look you up and you have no history, right? They ask, have you ever bowled league before? Or do you have league experience? And they say no. The person says no. Okay. The only ball that's available to you at that time is a plastic ball.
Oh, this idea is so bad.
you have to use that plastic ball. Okay. You're only allowed, you could use different plastic balls if you want multiple plastic balls, but you're only allowed that plastic ball until you check off certain accomplishments. Okay. You know how why are you laughing so
It's so bad. I can't even bite my tongue.
So, why are people putting LOL in the chat, Matt Andrews? About this. You know how in karate, it's like before you go, what's the first belt you get? It's like a green belt, right? Before you go yellow belt, before you go yellow belt, you have to be able to break the wood board, right? Or you have to be able to do this certain karate move, right? So before you go from plastic ball to urethane ball, you have to be able to maintain a certain average. You have to be able to make a certain amount of spares. You have to be able to. You're making me laugh so hard. So the people
terrible. I might mute you at this point.
I can't believe people think this is so funny. I cannot believe this.
Is Mike on painkillers?
Yeah, that's what people are asking. No, unfortunately.
I can't wait to make this real.
So you have to check off certain boxes. Then you get to the next level. You can use urethane. Get to the next level. You use reactive. Maybe even we have like a level above that where it's like the ultra exclusive balls, and you have to reach these levels to unlock these higher levels of the game.
Okay. So first, real quick question. Someone walks in and let's just say they're averaging a 150 and they're only at a level 1, right? Whatever it is.
Right.
And they say, hey, I want to drill the new Bionic.
No, you're not allowed.
No,
you're not allowed.
You can't spend $250 in my pro shop. I'm gonna have to put you into a mix or a tropical storm, which is $130.
Yeah, well, Ironically, Rob, the Pro Shop might be making more money off of the Mix or the Tropical Storm than they are the Bionic. But
that is a fair point. That is a fair point. But I mean, you can't really tell customers that you're not allowed to drill a certain ball. It just can't happen. I understand where your head is at in a sense, because if I'm learning how to I don't want to even compare it to that, but I don't know. That's not bad. That's a bad idea, but thanks for the laugh though, man.
Yeah, you think so? I don't know. I don't think it's that bad of an idea. I think it creates exclusivity. It creates a reason for people to want to go practice. It creates a reason for people to want to bowl. They want to check off this checklist quicker. They want to get to that next level quicker so they can get that ball.
I feel like this is like a video.
I'm using patch piratism against them. Do you all I am trying to sell patch piratism as an accomplishment in the game.
I feel like this is like a video game where you have like the body armor or there's something that you can't unlock because you're not at level 100.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's supposed to make you want to play the game to get to that level 100 to unlock this new body armor.
This is actual physical.
Do you know how many
actual, like, something you can hold in your physical hands? Like, it's not some fake thing in a video game. You can literally, you reach this level, you're literally going to go to the Pro Shop and be like, oh, I unlocked all these bowling balls. Now I can drill any of these.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's not a good idea. I think the Pro Shops would have so many fights with bowlers walking in to try to drill equipment, and they would have to say no to a customer, and the customer might get so pissed they might walk out of the Pro Shop, and then guess what happens? They go into the next Pro Shop 5 miles from them, and then the Pro Shop operator says, yeah, no problem, I'll drill you once, whatever, who cares?
No,
it would never work.
This would have to be,
you have to clear it.
Yes, this would have to be like standardized.
Like buying a gun, you would need a license.
Yes, we would have to take it really seriously.
Yeah.
Let me see that achievement card, he says. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Every time you bowl 300, they punch your card or something. So stupid.
Right.
Okay, Mike, you ready? Let's get the. That's a great laugh, though. I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness, you guys. You don't recognize a good idea when you see one.
I think my PBA Europe idea is better. To be honest with you.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Mike. You want to do worst of the week?
Let's do it.
By the way, this might be the first time where we are giving the worst of the week to the same people, because I think we might be giving the worst of the week to the same people. We might. Yeah. If you're not giving it, then I'm excited to give mine. So you ready to roll? Let's do it. Okay.
All right, Rob. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I've been trying to find it. I wanted to play it for people to see how bad this was. But I'm going to go first because I have a feeling we still might have the same. My worst of the week is going to the PBA social media team.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot about that. I retweeted it too.
You did. And I thought we were going to completely be on the same page on this worst of the week. But I'm glad you have your own worst of the week. So I'm going to get credit for my worst of the week here. If anybody didn't catch the PBA social media team, how long ago was this? Like 3 days or 4 days? They put up they made Eric Jones, and I don't know who the second guy was. Do you know who the second guy was?
The name escapes me. I do know who it was, but the name escapes me.
I'm assuming it was another pro.
Yeah, it's a rookie.
They made them recreate this video or something, right? Where, man, I'm trying to be PC about this, Mike. That they had them doing things to each other.
They were mimicking another like meme type video.
It was CJ Petrin, I guess. The Claw, right, was the name. Everyone's in the chat saying it. I've been trying to find it to play it because I think it's worth people to see it, but I'm kind of actually happy like I'm not going to play it because it was that bad. I actually like sent this to my friends who don't bowl, And I literally responded, and this is the reason why, like, bowling, like, is not cool, because social media puts dumb stuff like this out there. Like, yeah, you could say enemy of fun and all this crap, like, but come on, really? You need to go watch it for yourselves. And if people actually thought that was funny or enjoyed that social media content, then I'm just like, man, I just looked at it and I was just like kind of like awkward. It wasn't good content. Make AI videos. Like, that's what I do, and it's funny, and not all of them are funny, but it's better than putting two pros together doing some weird stuff. And that's what I'm calling it, weird stuff. Strange and
way
weird.
to describe it.
Strange
That's
and weird.
way to describe it.
These
No
two
comment will be my comment.
strange, weird stuff. You have these two pros that just seem awkward with each other doing. I couldn't even explain it. You have to go watch it.
Okay. There's been a lot of great worst of the week content lately, I have to say. It's been worst of the week has been a treasure trove lately. So recently, Dougie, where's Dougie? Dougie, please tell me Dougie's in the chat if there's any chance that Dougie's in the chat. He's in the Bowl TV chat all day, every day. So I don't know why he wouldn't be here. But Dougie threw up on social media a post. And I'm not giving worst of the week to Dougie, to be clear. I'm giving worst of the week to the person he was addressing in this post. And the post reads as follows. And there's a picture. There's 3 pictures in the post of what appears to be $100 bill. Okay, and the post reads as such. Not sure who it was. Not sure who it was that handed us this prop 100. This prop 100 when paying, in quotes, very good, Dougie, for yesterday's tournament. But please don't do this again. And someone literally gave them movie prop money as a $100 bill to enter one of his tournaments, to enter his event.
Wait, so did this get why they didn't catch it?
He didn't catch it. No, he didn't catch it. I mean, which I think is probably an honest mistake. Like, you should probably be using a money counter actually to flag stuff like that if you're dealing with that kind of money. But
probably a lesson learned. You got to have I mean, it couldn't be that hard to get a marker that.
Yeah, I heard those markers are not as good as people think they are, though.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to comment on stuff that I don't know, but I mean, there's got to be an easy way for people to like now understand if it's counterfeit or not, right? Because
my worst of the week goes to whoever paid for the tournament entry with prop money.
I know, like they weren't going to get
caught. That's wild. That's wild.
And to think you're not going to get caught because you actually have to hand the money to the person,
right?
Like it's just like kind of weird. Like you the balls to do that is just
wild. You're taking a huge risk. You're taking a huge risk, right?
Yeah.
I used to know some people who in action bowling would do what's called air betting. I'm sure you've heard, I'm sure you've heard of a few air betting situation, Robs, where people are betting money they don't have. They just keep bowling until they win a game, call the match over. They keep doubling up and trying to get out of it. Right. But yeah, I mean that's wild to me, giving a prop 100 at a bowling tournament.
Do you remember that scene in Kingpin where Roy Munson's bowling action and he has like, I think he's got like a 20 or 100 and they're wrapped around like nothing. Like that's what used to happen all the time. But God forbid you get caught and you don't have the money and you lose. I mean, they'll do worse to you, some of the areas that I was in, than putting your hand in the ball return.
True.
They would kill you for stuff like that. Like, no joke. Like, that's not something you play with. Like, you better have the money or you lose, or else. Where's Rudy? Rudy's in the chat. That's a question I would love to ask Rudy. If he'd ever bowled or know someone who's bowled action and didn't have the money to pay.
I know there's a famous story about a guy, I forget who it was, who faked a heart attack.
Yeah, that's a classic one. But that was they had 2 sponsors. They were backing the other guy. We don't want to get it. That's a good story though. All right, Mike, you ready to wrap it up?
Let's do it. All right, final thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, I'm just kind of optimistic at this point with the PBA and the HBO doc coming out, with McAfee giving some publicity this week. I kind of just seeing how it affects bowling in general, and to see if there's a lot of outside interest that normally wouldn't come into bowling after the documentary releases next Monday. So between the McAfee and that, I'm just hoping that bowling could what is the word I'm looking for, Mike?
Build on that momentum.
Build on that momentum. Take the opportunity. Put out a good product. The show today was very competitive. Was a good show bowling wise. A lot of matches came down to the 10 frame. Nothing like watching a live major, right, on TV. I think is always positive experience. I think that just so yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with this documentary and the McAfee stuff, and hopefully they could take advantage, is I guess what I'm saying, of the opportunity.
No doubt. My final thought is, there's a lot of people that listen to this show that know me personally, that reached out to me last week just to say they were thinking of me, or give me their well wishes or speedy recovery, whatever. I just want to give a shout to all those people, let them know I appreciate it. So yeah, and as I said to Rob before we came on, I just I appreciate being able to come here and do the podcast every week, because right now I'm kind of out of my normal routines, and this is one of the few normal routine based things that I can do. So kind of keeps me grounded a little bit. So I appreciate all y'all. It takes my mind off of what I'm dealing with for a little bit here. And I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody that reached out just to check in. So appreciate that.
Cool. All right, Mike.
That's a wrap. We went to super overtime for the people tonight. If you want to get in touch with us, email us, sweettherack@gmail.com. We love the emails. Keep them coming. Social media, we do most of our talking on X. He's at BrokenRob11. I am at the 215th. If you want merch, go to InsideBowling.com. Content creators, Sweep the Rack. Use the code PatchPower, 15% off. And more PBA action. It's nice having the PBA in a regular time slot every week. It's easy to schedule your bowling watching.
Make my day happier, and like and subscribe everything you can. Every post, every stupid comment I make on social media, every stupid AI video, which, by the way, I am going to be making a video of a guy walking into a pro shop and getting a card that has to be stamped to drill a new bowling ball. So that hopefully you should see tomorrow. That's going to be on my agenda tonight. Like and subscribe. Just like, comment.
Robert Hamilton missed the opening of the show. Hamilton, you should go back and watch the opening of the show.
Yeah, we kind of called Bill.
Bill will be bowling this week, in short. I'll give you
a if you didn't see the beginning of the show, we kind of called Bill impromptu.
To ask about Chris Vai's mom's cookies.
And a complete vintage Bill answer. That is complete a Bill answer if you know him. So anyway, all right, guys, we appreciate it. We'll be back next Sunday, I would imagine around the same time after the show. The Groupon PBA Illinois Classic is next Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget hours. I'm 3 hours behind Mike now, so I get to finish up an hour early, which is always good for me. So anyway, everyone have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good week, folks.
Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring